Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel, and in today's video we're going to take a look at Erik ten Hag's agent Kees Vos and the role he's been playing in the recruitment here at Old Trafford. Get involved with your thoughts and your opinions in the chat, but first of all I want to know your thoughts on Kees Vos.
Well, Kees Vos is an agent, works for SCG. They've got 600 players under management, and at the end of the day, when I look at his involvement here at Manchester United, it's not very big really. I think what it is to me, it's a story to start to question Erik ten Hag and to undermine him, and it's coming from the media. And this is what they do in times of turmoil.
Yeah, it does say in that report that I've highlighted on screen that Manchester United staff are concerned with his involvement. But like we say, how many players has he actually been playing an active role in recruiting players into Manchester United and out?
Well, he's only, the story tells you there's only 2 players what he's brought in, he's been involved in, and 1 player going out. So to me, John Murtough and his staff, it looks as though they feel as though they're being left out in the cold. And when that happens, it's dangerous behind the scenes. Erik ten Hag clearly has his own mind. He's got his own men. He might have rejected a lot of what John Murtough and his staff have put on him to sign players. So it's very dangerous. Games are being played. That's how I see it. And for Erik ten Hag, he's different than any other manager. He is taking control, whereas other managers in the past have just been happy to manage the first 11. That's how I see it. And to undermine him, this is a way to do it.
Yeah, I do think, no, it's not a bad thing. This Kees Vos, his agent, and Erik ten Hag having a good relationship, especially when he's got an agency with that amount of players under his radar. So for me, I can only see that as a positive. And I think you've just alluded to there. So surely someone behind the scenes, whether that's in the recruitment, the scouting department, John Murtough, or an agent, their nose has been put out of joint because they're either not getting a few quid, or someone may see down the line their job being made redundant.
Well, someone's suffering, and Erik ten Hag and his dealings with SCG in club business is relatively small, and someone like an agent is suffering. And remember, it's all about money with these players, agents and everything like that. So there might be a cosy relationship with John Murtough and his staff, and like I say, someone could be feeling left out in the cold and now starting to undermine Erik ten Hag. This is dangerous from the media. This is what happens, though. This is Manchester United, as we say, biggest club in the world. It is dangerous. The dealings really are small, but they're being highlighted, and someone somewhere inside Manchester United has got the hump, and I just believe it's down to money and people having the nose pushed out.
So do you believe then, or you're leaning more towards that this is a leak from inside Manchester United from someone somewhere whose nose has been put out of joint? Or do you think it's just blatantly a hit piece from the media to try and destabilise Manchester United even further in the dressing room and with inside the club?
Well, to me, it could be like someone inside the club who's got dealings with an agent, and maybe an agent is now starting to feel as though he can see the money trail going and he wants back in there. I think what's happened, Erik ten Hag has blocked a lot of transfers, what have been put to him, and agents are now losing out. And John Murtough and his staff are feeling undermined. That's how I see it. When the takeover, if the takeover is complete, we expect a clear out. Recruitment has been poor, and Erik ten Hag won't want to be thrown under the bus like other managers by the recruitment, what's gone on at this club. It's been so poor, and the people in charge of it, fans out there, us on here, we've criticised it, that it's been ridiculous at times, the way they've gone about it. You only have to look at what Erik ten Hag wanted when he come in. He wanted Anthony. There was a price tag there. At the end of the day, John Murtough and his staff wouldn't do it, wouldn't press the release button at a certain price, and then ended up paying a ridiculous fee, right, where Ajax were laughing their heads off, saying, no, you need him now, so this is what you're going to pay. And they ended up paying it. So John Murtough was in charge of that, and it was absolutely ridiculous. That's the thing Erik ten Hag's been up against. So I think he was getting blocked because other agents and John Murtough and his staff were looking at other players, and Erik ten Hag didn't want it. And in the end, they suffered financially, And that's all down to John Murtough and his staff. And at the end of the day, the job they've done has let us all down. The attitude, the atmosphere inside Old Trafford for the last few years has been poor. Players think they've been able to get away with it. So Erik ten Hag has brought in players for now to get through this period, what he knows and he can speak to, and they will toe the line. That's what he wants. He wants people around him, what he understands and what he hopefully trusts. So at the end of the day, for now, this is what we're going to have to put up with. There is a battle going on, clearly, inside and outside, and the media are being used by certain people to back them. And at the end of the day, Erik ten Hag is standing there and he's saying, I'm doing it my way. And change will take time, and you're all going to have to put up with it, because inside United, it's rotten to the core.
Yeah, no, even when you take yourself back to last year in his first summer at Manchester United, there was a piece there in the Express as well, and it was similar. So this isn't the first time you've had some sort of like what you might call a hit piece come out here.
Every manager has a relationship with one or more agents because they want to bring in players, they want to bring them in quick, and they want to get the deal done. But what you see at Manchester United, you see different departments not talking to each other, looking after themselves, and at the end of the day, they're feeding themselves. And if they've got relationships, and it's dangerous relationships because of the amount of money, what's involved, Erik ten Hag just wants the people he can trust, and at a certain point, Erik ten Hag will feel as though he will be able to go out and do exactly what should be done. And at the end of the day, he's not going to be let down by other people, and he's not going to be thrown under the bus by him.
The thing is, SEG as well, they must have had a positive impact in bringing ten Hag as well to Manchester United, because they'd have had involvement in getting the contract signed and all the talks that have gone on around that.
Now, someone is clearly trying to start to undermine Erik ten Hag. And while all the chaos is going on, we're not letting this little story slip through the net. Like you say, we've seen this story come out a year ago, so it's now starting again. And like I say, once that sale, if that sale goes through, there will be a big clear out. So people are just, to me, trying to feed themselves out of this trough while they can. And undermining Erik ten Hag and SEG won't work in my eyes, because the dealings are too small. But the story's there, and it's to undermine.
But it also highlights as well of United's 45 intermediary transactions published by the FA between February 2022 and January 23, which includes every contract issued by the club during that period. SEG are not listed once.
Well, it just shows you why the story's out there. It's to stir the pot, nothing more. That's what it's for. And there's somebody inside United belonging to some agents who are having money took out of the pocket, and they're not happy and they don't care. They'll throw these stories out, and the media are quite happy to go along with it. So what I would do with this is just ignore it. Don't bite to it. But we're there letting you know how we feel about it and how we see it. And we just see it as another media storm trying to be created against Man United. And we're just like knocking it right back.
Just while we're here as well, I've just seen some news pop up that Varane and Mount have returned to training at Manchester United, but Amrabat is training away from the main group at the moment. So that's a positive as well, seeing Varane and Mason Mount back with the group training.
Yeah, well, getting these players back, it's imperative that they come back, and the quicker the better. We need them. We've got, like we highlighted yesterday, how many players are injured, and it is a crisis. So a little bit of good news there. The Amrabat one, I'm not too happy at all about this injury, how it's going on, and the recruitment of him. It's been a little bit underwhelming, really. This player should really have got here, and if he's injured, I don't think we should have got him.
Well, with Amrabat, it was the amount of time it took to get him here at Manchester United. If they'd have got him in a lot sooner, in with the squad for the pre-season tours, etc., we might not be in this case with him now. He might have already made his debut, and we'd have seen a lot more of him. So,
It's a recurring theme in it over the summer. I highlighted before the Anthony. Ten Hag wanted Anthony in early to get him in the pre-season, and at the end of the day, the same thing has happened with Amrabat, stalling, and it was clear to everybody that Amrabat was a target for Ten Hag, and somebody somewhere has delayed it. for whatever reason, I'm not sure.
Yeah, still staying on hit pieces though at Manchester United, trying to destabilise the club between fans, manager and etc. The Sun last night, I think it was, Neil Custis, I think we're all familiar with, again, all the negativity around Manchester United. Says after that Brighton defeat over the weekend, there was arguments between Bruno Fernandes, Scott McTominay, Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof. Now, what's your thoughts on that?
Listen, if you get beat, I would turn round. Listen, on a Sunday league, I'd turn round and say, you was rubbish, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that. There'd be arguments all the time. When you get beat, you expect arguments. Now, at the end of the day, to come out and start naming players' names after a defeat against Brighton, where was this after Liverpool when we got beat 7-0? This is just another story. The Sun cussed us again. And at the end of the day, you expect people to care. To care. This is Manchester United and it's not good enough. That performance wasn't good enough. So you would expect it every game.
Yeah, every game, whether we win, lose or draw, to be honest with you. It's all about standards, and that's what Erik Hag's trying to bring in there, high standards. And you look back to, over the years, even under Ferguson, you can imagine Roy Keane, etc., Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, all the top players we've had over the years, even when we've won but not put in a good performance, they're having words with each other because of standards that they set themselves in the dressing room and when they step onto the pitch. And that's the type of thing we want here at Manchester United.
Well, it's not a new phenomenon, players arguing, is it? Players
happens on Sunday League football.
Yeah, it happens all the time. This is just a newspaper, I believe, and a story just being made up to pile it on. But hey, United fans, we really should be used to all this. And at the end of the day, United have denied it, that it's not happened. So I'm just going along with that. I just think it's time to just hold your horses here and just relax at any story, what comes out, what's slagging, because that's what it is, slagging Man United and trying to undermine the work Erik ten Hag's doing. He's here and he's going to change things. He's here for the long term. That's his role. That's what he was given. You're in charge. Deal with it. And at the end of the day, some people just don't like it.
Yeah, like we discussed in a previous video earlier this week, I think it was, where we discussed the report saying that Manchester United are quite happy for Erik ten Hag to put the foundations down in making the standards better here and the culture behind the scenes at Manchester United. And I'm fully behind Erik ten Hag in any decision that he makes. I might not like it as a fan, but some of it, you've got to look long term and think, well, this is the man for the job, because out there's no other man for us. I think we've had every other manager we could possibly think of, from David Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, to then Solskjaer, an ex-player. After Erik ten Hag, we don't go anywhere. But for me, Erik ten Hag's the best signing we've had in the last 10 years, and I fully support him.
Well, you have to look at the managers. Some of the managers before Erik ten Hag, they weren't here for the long term. They weren't given the role what we all wanted for a manager to have. And Erik ten Hag's got that role. He's in charge and he's here for the long term. And change will take time.
No, it will indeed. Just like to thank everyone for joining us today. Just thought we'd have a discussion on that hit piece by the Daily Mail about Erik ten Hag and his agent Kees Vos. It's clearly a hit piece, what's trying to destabilise the club, the manager, and the relationship between the fans and the manager as well. Yeah. So we just wanted to give our opinions on it. Hopefully you'll get involved with yours as well, and anything else you want to discuss in the comments. So yeah, just join us tomorrow. I think we'll be back straight after the game. I think we'll probably do a live video though, straight after the Bayern Munich versus Manchester United game. So if you're available, we'd like you to come over, get your comments in and opinions in on the game, and we'll all discuss them throughout the video. So you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you straight back after the game.
Smash the likes.
I was going to say, with a win. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Come on, Reds.